Why? Because when they peel up, it's just your gross nail.
Wait, did they airbrush it or hand paint it?
They hand painted them. They did good, but the gel, it's gel and it didn't stay on really well in some of the spots. I think it's just because I do so much dishes and laundry.
Probably. That's what happens to me.
Mm.
Because I do that so much.
So,
all the time.
Welcome to Take It or Leave It, episode number 200.
200.
Congratulations, ladies.
Ah, thank you, Dave. Can you believe it's episode 200?
It is.
That's 102 times.
There. By the way, this is not a podcast where you should come if you're looking for math tips, tricks, or advice.
Oh, I forgot.
Mm-mm.
She said, mm-mm. She doesn't even know what it is.
No, I know exactly what it is, and it's an mm-mm.
No, it's the 52.3% was not an accurate number. 140%.
It sounded right to me.
I know, right? I was like, this sounds good.
It sounded right. It sounds so much worse, his number.
I know, it doesn't it? I was like, sheesh, never mind. Nobody's going to understand that because it's not. So anyway,
let's get it started.
You want me to leave? Or I was going to hang up a little bit.
All right. So welcome to Take It or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast hosted by myself, Meredith Masony.
Hello. I'm Tiffany Jenkins, and I'm also a host of this program. We discuss all things marriage, motherhood, everything in between. But please remember, we're not professionals at anything you may actually need. So any advice we give you, you could take
or leave because it might be crap. On today's episode of Take It or Live It, Live It, Leave It, Live It, Love It. For those of you who don't know, it has been officially announced. We are going on a podcast tour in 2024. Woo. And we do have our first 2 dates. So if you are in the Albany or
it's 2024 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I got nervous. I thought you meant next year. And I'm like, oh shit.
No.
I made plans this year.
October 2024. We have 2 dates on sale right now. We have more coming, but right now we have Albany and
Hartford, Manchester.
Hartford, which is, I guess, that's what I got confused about because it's Hartford, but it's technically Manchester, Connecticut.
Okay.
So it's a bit confusing. Maybe it's a town with 2 names. I'm not sure, but
Beth will be there in Albany.
Beth is going to be here in Albany. Great.
Thanks, Beth. Yes. Make sure if you're in those areas, will you tell your friends?
Yeah, please.
Because then we don't have to spend money on advertising. I mean, it would just be a nice thing to do, is what I meant to say. Sorry. Phil? No, I'm just kidding.
No, Phil, leave that in and make sure, because we have to actually record an ad spot for the tour because we have to promote it.
Yeah.
So we've really just announced it. And luckily, we've had some ticket sales as a result, which are great. But we need more.
Okay, so maybe we should do another push.
Yeah. Well, like salt and pepper, we're going to push it real good.
Okay. I don't like that. Anyway, it's so exciting. I can't wait. I hope that we don't look stupid. What are you doing?
Oh, as a matter of fact, and I'm not going to announce these on air because we didn't accept them yet, but we got
more offers.
4 more offers.
We do?
Yeah. So I'll take a look at
Does it have anything to do with the first 2 dates? Like, do they want to see how well we did the first 2 dates and then give us more, or is it just happenstance?
I think it all went out, but I think with the little push that you guys did and what it did already, I think it was very
good. I think that's what I'm trying to determine is if what we did was good so far.
Because you guys didn't really do much
at all,
and the response was very positive already.
Hey, that's such good news. Okay, Meredith, you want to do
you want to join us for the podcast there?
Yeah, I was just trying to see the dates on these.
And I'll be your substitute host while Meredith is on Instagram.
Yes.
I'm not on Instagram.
Golf tips, but just the tips.
Oh, this is a good run. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes.
That's nice. This is nice.
It makes me so happy and feel so excited.
Yeah. So this is gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge, Caroline. This is gonna be great.
Nobody's gonna get that unless they're local.
Okay, so
that's right. You get that.
Yeah. So last night we're on a FaceTime with Matthias, and I look and I'm like, "What's on your neck?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a new necklace." And I was like, "Was Mr. T on campus and selling some of his old inventory? Like, what's going on?" And he's like, "Who's Mr. T? That's not the name of the necklace shop." And I was like,
oh man.
But I kid you not, he had this big ass, fake gold chain dangling. And I was just like, who are you? You got away to school.
He's a Miami poppy.
Yeah. And after 2 weeks, I was just like, all right, you do your thing, chicken wing. Like, I don't know what's going on, but
I love it.
I had to audibly laugh. Also, he forgot it was my birthday. So I sat there.
Aww.
And I was like, is there anything you'd like to tell your mother on this day?
September 5th?
And he's like, I love you. You're the best mom ever. And I was like, And in the middle of the conversation, Dave is texting him to say happy birthday to your mom.
He was the only one to get you a card last year, wasn't he?
He did get me a card last year. Listen, this poor kid, adulthood has smacked him in the face.
Felt.
Oh my gosh. He's like, Mom, I have to get up early every day and go to a team workout.
6 out of the 7 days.
6 out of 7 days a week. Then I have to go to classes. And I was like, no, in college? They make you go to classes? And he's like, yeah, like 2 a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. And he's like, yeah.
He goes, I thought my class was at 3. So I showed up at 2:55 and everyone had left already. And they took a quiz. So I asked my professor if I could take it. And he just looked at me and said, nope. And told me to leave.
My goodness.
So he missed his first math quiz. And I was like,
holy shit,
buddy, you kind of have to know what days and what time your classes are. Because, like, that's why you're there.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah. So anyway, he's not struggling by any means. He's just realizing that he's not on vacation in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know what I mean? Like it's sinking in. Like I have things I have to do.
Poor guy. I was going to say something before. Can you help me really quick? We can keep this in. I don't care. But I meant to ask you before we started recording, but somebody in my email asked me to send them an invoice.
Okay.
And I don't know what the fuck that means.
I can help you with that.
Okay. Thank you so much. You're my mommy. I need mommy and daddy.
I love how you're just like, I have Phil, you can keep it or take it out. I don't care. I have an accounting question. I'm not sure how to get people to pay me for services rendered. Can you please fill this invoice out for me?
It was stressing me out.
Oh my God.
And so I had to get it off of my head and out into the world. I could have texted you probably, but anyway, if anybody knows anything about invoicing.
Yes.
If anybody knows anything about invoicing.
Also, I found out, never mind. No.
Is this also podcast related or no?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Is what podcast related?
What you're going to say?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, Jesus. We are a mess.
I feel like I changed my mind about saying it anyway, but then it left. Once my mind decided it didn't need it anymore, it just disposed of it forever. It deleted the recycle bin. I don't know where it is.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. So yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay. But it's so funny how middle-aged birthdays are hilarious because I woke up, I had to rush out of the house for an 8:30 a.m. urology appointment. I get home, I had a buttload of work I had to do, dishes, laundry, cleaning things up. Then I have therapy.
I love it.
And I'm just sitting in the parking lot of therapy at like 3:55 getting ready to go into my appointment, and I'm like, this
What
is middle
happened?
age. This is middle age.
Right.
This is my
Right.
birthday.
Okay, you had a great day.
Okay. And then I did get to put up my Christmas tree, which is our
Aw.
tradition. So Dave struggled out in the garage for like a solid hour getting all the bins down, and it's 100 degrees. So he's just drenched, sweating.
Mm-hmm.
He gets all the bins in. We get the tree up. We take a shower. We order Chinese food because I was like, I'm not going to cook. Let's get takeout. He gets home. He realizes he missed a bin. He has to go back out into the garage.
Oh,
He
so
gets
hot.
super sweaty again. He has to take a second shower.
No way. I would have been like, screw your tree.
Well, the top of the tree was missing.
Oh, damn.
I was like, we can't really finish without the top of the tree. So he did that. And then the kids came out and they helped decorate the fall tree. And so now it's up and it looks great and it's beautiful. And then we watched part of that new Jim Carrey documentary, which I think you'll enjoy.
There's a Jim Carrey documentary.
Yeah, it's
Where
called
he
Jim
played
and Andy,
Kaufman.
where he
Oh.
played Andy Kaufman.
Oh,
And it's all the footage that they shot during the making of the film. So it's pretty
I don't know
interesting.
if I'd be interested in that.
No? Well, it's
Because
how
I'm not interested in Andy Kaufman or that whole thing.
Yeah, but what's interesting is it shows how he completely immersed himself to where he actually believed he was Andy Kaufman.
Oh,
So
interesting psychological twist.
Yes, yeah, that's the part of it
that I might be into.
Yeah, so we watched that for a little bit, and then, I mean, by 11 o'clock, I was like, I'm gonna pass out now. So Dave turned on. I think there was a football game, and the second I saw it was football, my eyes shut.
Oh yeah,
and I was out.
So
that was his plan.
So the question that we're debating in our house right now, Tiffany, Meredith's birthday present. It's not here, and it won't be here for a little while. And I haven't decided if I want to just keep giving. I've been giving her hints for about 2 or 3 weeks. Whether to keep doing that or just let her know.
No, hints or a surprise. It's very rare that we get surprised in life, and I think surprises are amazing.
I hate them.
I don't care. This is about me right now. He asked me, and I think, and I think you should keep it a surprise. I'm just kidding. Happy birthday. Whatever you want to do. But I love hints. But I do think they would drive her crazy.
Oh, that's the whole point.
And Meredith, you really don't know?
I don't even know what hint he's talking about. He's like, I've given you multiple hints. And I'm like,
oh, cute.
I don't.
Secret hints? Like during the day, randomly?
Yep.
Oh, I love it. That's cute.
It's not because I don't recollect a single hint.
Yeah, but you will. It'll all make sense, I bet, at some point. That's what's cute.
I don't.
See the face?
I don't.
That's what I love. That's
I
my
don't
favorite
do
part
well
of this.
with surprises. I don't like being surprised.
Okay,
I have
so if
audible gasping syndrome, by the way.
listen.
It's a real thing.
If we were being 100% honest, real, raw, down to the bones, how we feel about things, do you truly want him to just tell you and get it over with, or do you not mind the hints?
It makes me uneasy to know that I don't know what's going on or when something is going to happen or how I'm supposed to.
Right. The anticipation.
Well, because you know me, I like to have things structured and organized, and it doesn't feel that way.
So
Right.
take a look at your phone, Tiffany.
Okay.
Does Tiffany know what it is?
She will in about a minute. I keep it.
Keep it a secret.
Okay.
Tiffany.
I'm crying. It's sweet. Just take this. Just trust that
Ooh,
you're in good hands and
take
know
it.
that you're going to go on a fun
Thank you,
adventure.
Tiffany. We're gonna. Phil, can we get that clip from Tiffany?
They're so stupid.
I love it. I love it. Cute. All right. I don't want to give it away with my tears. I mean, it's not, whatever. I'm not going to tell you. It's not like a sad thing. I just, you know how emotional I get when Dave does sweet stuff for you? I think it's so nice.
Yeah, so stop it. Stop it.
And that's how she responds when I do things.
No, it's the
Stop it.
dog.
Stop it.
She keeps licking that paw. I don't know what I'm going to do about that paw. Yeah, so Dave has been, so you know how he did the mirrors? We talked about the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah, so he keeps going in now and changing what he writes on the mirror. So he has an expo marker hidden somewhere in the bathroom and he randomly goes in and changes it.
Is it always nice things or is it funny?
No, it's always something sweet. He wrote in Spanish, he wrote, "I love you more today than I did yesterday, but not as much as I will tomorrow."
That's your guys' thing.
Mm-hmm. And then he there's a Winnie the Pooh and Piglet quote where it says, if you live to be 100, I want to live to be 99 minus 1 day, so I never have to live in this world without you."
Oh, listen, you guys are going to be that old couple who can't live without the other person and you die days apart. I bet. I bet.
I hope we're old when that happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. Not like in an avalanche or like a freak accident. That would really suck. One of you dies in ICU on day 2. That's really bad.
Oh my God, that got dark.
It did. Bill? No, I'm just kidding.
That got dark. Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, I need to ask, because you got yourself really deep into this football cheerleading.
Oh my gosh.
And every time I text you, you're like, I gotta go. I'm on my way to take the kids to practice. Like, what is this worth it? Are they just having so much fun that you're like, oh, it's totally worth it because they just enjoy it so much? Or are you ready to just be like, we need to quit. Everybody needs to quit and we never need to leave the house again? Because I've never in all my life, the schedule of these kids' practices, it's insane. And they're little. These are little kids.
Yeah. I'm not who I used to be before football and cheerleading came into my life. I didn't know, dude. I didn't know. I thought maybe one practice a week and a game on Saturdays. Fun little local town football team. I didn't know that I was signing up for practice Monday through Friday, game Saturday. And the thing is like, it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be 3 days a week, which still is excessive because it's 2 hours each practice. Caden's is 2.5 hours. But because of rain and shit, so you go out to the field and then it rains and then you have to quit, or they call it while you're on your way out to the field, or they call it when hopefully you're still at your house, but you don't know all day long until an hour before practice whether or not the rain is going to do it. But the kids are not having a lot of fun.
Oh.
But no, here's what I will say. Caden, initially, I thought he hated it, but I don't think Caden is necessarily cut out for football. He doesn't like hurting people. But I want to give it a fair shot and have him at least get this experience of coaches and, whatever. it's been so good for both of them as far as health.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, they're transforming.
Oh, okay, great.
They spent the whole summer as iPad kids. Like we were indoors. Like they went to a camp,
Yeah.
which they got to jump and run around every day. But then when they came home, it was like
Cocoon.
cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
And they became like little pale, pasty Rice Krispie treats. And then this is so good for them. I'm watching like their self-esteem improve. I'm watching their overall, little physiques improve. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Look at this.
Okay, that's great. All right. So I'm seeing some positive here. I love that. I know you, and I'm sitting here, and every time we're texting, you're taking a kid to practice, and it's just like that has to be.
It makes me anxious because I'm not super great at like timing things, and so Caden's football starts.
No, that's not you.
Okay,
Stop.
Do you want a fist fight? Caden's
we can in Albany in October.
Yes, come see us fight on stage.
Yeah.
Freaking anyway, Caden's practice starts 5:45, ends at 8:15. Chloe starts at 6 and ends at 7:45. So I have to like go to Caden's football field, drop him off, then go to Chloe's, drop her off, then come back to Caden's and watch him because there's a greater chance that he's going to receive an injury than Chloe. And if there is an injury, I need to be right there. And then I have to walk back over to her field around the time her practice ends, get her, come back, get Caden. Their practice ends at between 8 and 8:15. So we have just enough time to grab fast food on the way home, come home, shower, and then like go to bed immediately. And part of me feels bad for them because I'm like, they don't have any time to decompress because their school was slipping and their teachers were like, yo. Like they're not doing great on tests, and also they're not doing their homework. And I'm like, damn, dude, me and Drew were dropping the ball. When you're going between two houses, it's so easy for shit to fall between the cracks. And it's not an excuse, but we were slacking a little bit and trusting them when we're like, do you have homework? They're like, no. We're like, okay, great. Get in the car. We're going to sports. Like we didn't. So then when we took a closer look, it's like Caden had failed this test, this FCAT test, failed. He's never failed a test in his life. So for the past 3 days, we've been doing flashcards in the car on the way to practice, like trying to learn. And I just feel like a full-blown mom right now. Like I feel like I'm momming so frigging, I don't want to say it, hard.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but it is tough because finding balance is almost impossible with a practice schedule like that. And then, the demands of they do have homework, even though they're in elementary school, they do have homework and things they have to go over, which I also find to be ridiculous. The amount of homework that kids are given.
I know, I agree. So stupid. Like
I don't know. It seems like a bit much, but
it does. And I'm trying to get some of my I'm trying to get the kids into I don't know if I should say this. I don't want to embarrass them, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but because it's not my shit, I don't know, but it is kind of my shit. Anyway, I'm trying to get them into therapy, and it's really tough because of the schedule. So I either have to take them out of school or try to get them an appointment immediately after school and go right from school to therapy to practice. But it's just tricky. It's hard to do school, extracurricular activities, homework, and God forbid if you need therapy from having to do all that shit, like that too. There's no time for them to veg, which is good. But
do you want them to go individually or together?
Individually.
Yeah. So then you're looking at 2 other days a week that you got to fill a time slot.
Yeah. And I want their dad and I to go also with them sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important. I mean, I think that takes precedent over some other things, especially considering it's a new dynamic with you guys being 2 separate households and all of these things going on. So I agree with that. I think that's important.
But it would be so hard to explain to the kids like, hey, we have to let go of football or cheerleading because you have to go to therapy. They'd be like, what?
Well, but what if you were able to get back-to-back appointments one day and they just missed one day a week?
Yeah, that would be doable. That would be important to me to do that, and I would do that.
That's what
that was
I'd look
possible.
at. If you could if you know who you're going to go to and you say we could always do Mondays, 4 and 5, if we can always get a 4. Like my therapist knows. She's like, I like Monday afternoons. That's my jam. Like, because it feels like whatever happens throughout the week or over the weekend, I get to go in on Mondays and be like, this is what happened. And we do a lot of couples therapy on Mondays. And then lately I've been taking a separate session just because I need it. And so I think it's really important. I think that our lives, our children's lives are so different from the way we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
And the just amount, I think, of stressors and different things that have been put in place, not even add on top social media and the other the ways in which they interact and expectations that are placed on them. There's a lot. There's just a lot.
Oh, I know.
So,
oh my gosh. I had the most heartbreaking thing happen.
What?
Like parent heartbreaking wise, dude. Tell me what you would do. I'm going to give you a situation. You tell me what you'd do. Okay?
Okay.
Imagine your kid is 8, Sophia. Well, all right, never mind. Just tell me what you'd do. I'm just going to, obviously, which kid it is. One of my kids is in a group chat with their whole class, which I didn't know was a thing that happened. It was the day it happened, the day the group chat was formed. And they all were like talking, and it was cute to hear. Like, I thought it was just her and one friend. I didn't realize that it was the whole class. And all of a sudden, Chloe, I hear her friend say, "You're being rude." And Chloe's like, "No, you're being rude. I wasn't being rude. You called us rude, and I said you were rude." And then her friend hung up. And the next thing I know, Chloe said, "Oh no," and threw her hands up to her face and started bawling her eyes out. And I was like, "What happened?" And she was inconsolable. She was like, blah, blah, just told the entire class who my crush is. I trusted her. Inconsolable. Now, if we put aside the fact that I dropped the ball on recognizing that a group chat was formed and perhaps she shouldn't have an iPad or chats to begin with. Okay, let's put all that aside. What would you do?
So I made a video about this a couple of years ago because Sophia was in a group text chat situation, and I did this video, and I think I called it Mean Girls texting or Mean Girls something. I'll have to find it. But this is what happens, right? Like, there used to be this divide between going to school and seeing people, and then there was time away from them, and then you showed up the next day, and you weren't all connected. That doesn't exist anymore because they leave school, they're still connected, whether it's via a group chat or social media or whatever the hell is going on. And so there's no space for a decompression or any type of escape.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is exhausting. And I mean, I can't imagine that at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, whatever. I mean, these kids in general, all the way up through high school or whatever. But I had a real in-depth conversation with Sophia about Mean Girls and who the mean girls are and what mean girls do and why mean girls do the things that they do. And you have to be able to look at both sides and have the conversation from both angles, because at any given moment in time, I can have the daughter who is suffering at the hands of the mean girl, but I could also be the mother of the daughter who is the daughter is the mean girl.
100%.
So I'm not going to go out and say like, oh, let's find out who this girl is and let's go have a chat with her mother and be like, why would you do such a thing? And because I mean, at any point in time, your child can be both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
That will happen.
It happened last year.
It will throughout, as they grow and change and learn, and it will happen. What I explained to Sophia is that the way we treat each other is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. It's a reflection of how much grace we can extend to others. It's a reflection of how we want the world and others to see us. And so when you are in a group chat or you are texting or you're talking with others, you need to remember that there should be a standard with how we treat other people. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know what's going on in their homes. We don't know we don't know any of these things. And the expectation that everybody is showing up to school and they're all in a good mood and everything is fine and nobody is at home missing meals, or nobody is in the middle of their parents going through a divorce, or nobody is in the middle of, potentially being, having other issues going on. You can't live in that world.
Right.
And we can't raise kids to think that there aren't outside forces that change the way we are or how we interact with others. So I just sat with her and explained that, because she was in this instance, she was being targeted and they were saying mean things about her. I am not going to say at any point she did not say mean things back or say mean things about them. But when I read through the chat, because I got an alert because I have Bark on the phones, and I got an alert saying that there was language and other things because I had filters set up. And it was scanning text messages and it was telling me, you need to go check your kid's phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I checked the phone and read the chat, and they were saying some super nasty things. And I thought, okay, I'm going to contact these moms. But I was like, nope, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to my child, and I'm going to let my child know what I believe to be an appropriate response.
Okay.
And then I told her it was up to her if she wanted to exit the group chat.
Okay.
But to know that I would be monitoring said group chat, just like the reason I knew about it, because she didn't come and tell me. I went to her because I think this was 6th grade. So what is that? 11, 12? She wasn't going to come and tell me, I don't think.
Right.
Your situation is different because she's younger and whatnot. And this is a whole class. I'm talking about a group chat with maybe 4 or 5 girls. I didn't even know they had whole classes in group chats.
Me neither. Boys, girls, everything.
Yeah, that seems excessive. But all I would do is have that conversation with her about how we treat others, how we see others, how others see us, how our actions can affect others, how our words, they can hurt and sting, and that, this has happened. And now how does she want to react to it? How does she want to deal with it? How does she feel about it? Right? Because she's allowed to feel any way she any feeling she's having is valid. That's another tidbit that I've learned from therapy. People want to label certain emotions bad, and then when they have that emotion, they feel bad about having it.
Mm-hmm.
Any emotion you feel is valid.
Yeah.
Your body is telling you to feel it for a reason.
Preach.
It's your reaction to that emotion that can be a poor reaction.
Amen.
So we can't expect kids to be like, this bitch in the group chat just blew up my crush. I'm going to go crash out on her. I think I used all of those terms. Right?
No.
No.
The
Okay.
end one was weird.
I was close.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point of it being, she's going to have to choose the way she reacts because there's only one person that she can control, and that's herself.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
I love that. I fucked up.
Okay. What'd you do?
Well, first of all, I panicked.
Okay.
That's what I usually do first. And I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she told me, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I said, "That's so fucked up." And then I was like, "I'm sorry for saying the F word, but like, that's fucked up." And then I was like, "No way." And I consoled her and I told her, you know, all the shit that you say. It sounded good in the moment. You know what I mean? I was obviously comforting my kid. But then I'm
Right.
like, and then she said, "I don't want to go to school."
Mm.
And I was like, "Well, I have to fucking get the teacher involved."
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right.
You grimaced.
It was
Well, so
involuntary.
here's the reason I wanted to get the teacher involved was specifically to keep an eye on Chloe and make sure that the whole class wasn't bullying her and she ends up trying to do something terrible.
I don't think that was a wrong move.
Well, my ex-husband did.
Okay.
So it became this thing because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to tell you what happened to Chloe." Actually, here. And I just sent him a screenshot of the message I sent the teacher. And he basically was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. I feel like maybe shouldn't have done that." He didn't say that. I could tell you what he said, but it was basically like, "I just don't think it's a big deal. Now she's going to be the only one who's not in the group chat because she removed herself from the group chat." And in the message to the teacher, I said I made her remove herself from the group chat because I felt like I failed already and I wanted to try to redeem myself and look like some kind of affirmative action parent. And so I said that, and then, but I really didn't make her. It was her decision. And so he saw that and thinks that I like, and I was like, she wanted to leave the group. But anyway, the moral of the story is I told the teacher to keep an eye on her. The teacher was really great about it and was like, "Thank you so much for telling me. I'm going to have the behavior specialist come in and talk to the kids about internet stuff. I think this is something that is needed. I really appreciate you bringing it to my attention. Since it happened outside of school, there's nothing I could do." Understandably, of course, she's like, "Do you want me to contact the girl's mom?" And I'm like, "No, honestly, I've had 72 hours to process." And I realized that perhaps I jumped the gun a little bit and got a little panicky. But I just wanted to make sure that she's okay. Cause I can't imagine what it's like walking into class after the night before someone outed your crush who's in the class. And then everybody knows all at once. And I imagine she'd just be getting made fun of all day long the whole time. She said she didn't want to go to school. So I felt like I had to let the teacher know.
I look, this is what I'll say. Chloe is younger than Sophia was in this situation. I also, you've had an instance with, I think we talked about it on the
Kaden. Or the girls.
I thought we talked about last year there being a bit of a kerfuffle with Chloe and some other girls.
Okay. A fight.
Yeah. So I think that having that information does play a role in your decision making here. Did we not post that this was live in the supporter pages?
Oh, shit.
Tiff, you missed it this week?
I told him last week. I told him when I talked to you that it was going to be at 9 on Thursday, but I never posted the link. I forgot.
9 on Friday, you mean? It's Friday.
Yeah. Fuck me.
Fuck. Because I see people now and they're like, "Oh, so now we're switching from Meredith not posting the link to Tiffany not posting the link." LOL. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'd love to tell you that we'd get better.
It's my
I'm
fault.
so
I
sorry.
have to figure out how to post it in both.
Are you not? Yeah, something happened on Dave's end, and we haven't been able to post on Tiffany's back end.
And you know when I'm in charge of my back end.
And if Tiffany's in charge of her own back
Damn,
end, then
dude.
we have.
I was so proud of myself because as soon as you and I talked and you said you couldn't do Thursday, I went right into my supporter group and I
said
said
9 on Friday.
yes. And I
Yeah.
was so proud of myself. I'm like, fucking look at me go, dude. I'm so proactive.
Yeah, you
And then
did.
today
Just-
I messaged you and said, hey, I have to be out as close to 10 as possible.
Right.
And then I got a link right away. So I just clicked it. And
yeah, this is here's the great thing.
It's not great.
Okay. Here's the mediocre thing. You can rewatch it. We're sorry that happened, and we're going to try to be better and try and figure out why we can't post to both anymore, but Dave will figure that out. And we'll fix that moving forward. We do apologize for that. Also, just to go back for 1 second before I talk about what Tiffany was just saying, just so you know, if you come to a show, if you come to one of our podcast shows live, it's a different show every fucking night. Just so you know. So if you're like, well, I'm thinking about coming if it comes to my area, but I could just listen to it or whatever. There's going to be audience interaction with our show. It's going to be a different show. Each city is going to have the format that I'm planning really goes into the city that you guys are in, interacting with the people. We've got a whole thing that we're working on because we want to bring something unique and new and fresh every time we go on stage with an audience. So that's just a tidbit
Did
of
you guys
information.
come up with an actual name yet?
Let's take it or leave it.
That's it. Technical difficulties.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But isn't that the name? I think that's the name of
a different podcast, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to go back to what you were saying, I think what you did, I understand why you did what you did. And you have actions that have occurred in the past that made you feel like you had to address it
exactly.
that way. So I get that. Here's the other thing that I will tell you happened. And I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before. But there are situations where you do have to go in a school setting and talk to a teacher and another set of parents with kids. Like that is not overstepping if there's a situation that deems it appropriate. Matthias was on the playground in class one day. I want to say he was in 4th or 5th grade. A girl came up behind him and pantsed him. Pulled his pants straight down to his ankles. He was standing there in the middle of the field in his undies. And so the teacher calls and was basically like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, we're going to have a chat with why we think this is okay to pull people's pants down at school. It's not like it's the first I'd ever heard of somebody doing that. I was a public school teacher for 13 years. Kids did that shit all the time. Doesn't make it okay, doesn't make it right. But you go in, you have a conference about that, and you make sure that the kid knows you can't be pulling people's fucking pants down in the middle of the playground.
Right.
So there are situations where you have to go in and be like, no, we have to talk about this.
Right.
So, I don't think there was anything wrong with texting her and just being like, and her saying it happened outside of school, but this can be addressed by our
she
XYZ.
Was so validating. The only problem was it took like a day or so to get back to me. So in that day, I just felt like a big idiot because of the reaction of her dad. And I was like, damn, but he didn't try to make me feel like an idiot. He was actually really great. Let me just say, like, he was like really communicative and was like, thank you for hearing me out, da, da, da. And I said to him, I have a history of catastrophizing and making mountains out of molehills. And I know I do that. So please never hesitate. Tell me if you think that's what I'm doing. Like, it didn't bother me that he told me. It bothered me that I felt like I did what I always do, which is panic and make rash decisions impulsively and then end up regretting it.
Yeah. So here's another tidbit from therapy that I'll give people, because this is, I don't know if this is an across the board or maybe just for people who are a teensy weensy bit codependent, but you have to do your best to not let a partner's reaction to something determine your reaction or the way you feel.
I know.
Because your feelings are valid as well. Their feelings can be valid and your feelings can be valid. And one thing our therapist says every fucking session is 2 things can be true at the same time. They can both be true simultaneously, side by side. You could have your feelings about this situation and them be valid. He can have his feelings about this situation and them be valid. That doesn't mean that the way he feels has to affect the way you feel.
Absolutely. And that's something that I have to work on, because even though we've been divorced for a friggin' year and a half, my boyfriend knows this. I talked to him about it yesterday. I was like, for some reason, I'm still so worried about upsetting him or pleasing him or like codependent. Like, I don't have any feelings for Drew whatsoever. If somebody showed up at my house and was like, get back with him, here's $1 million, I would decline the money, because I know we're not, like, I don't want that. And neither does he. But for some reason, he still has such a fucking hold on me. And I think I'm just realizing right this minute, because you use the word codependent, that part of me is maybe still codependent on him after all this time.
Well, it's not a short period of time that you were married. So you have to take into account how that changed the chemistry and fucking makeup of your brain to how you related to him.
Yes.
And so it's going to take time to unlearn or create new pathways to take that away. But when the instance arises, you need to insert, I am valid in how I'm feeling right now. And just because you're saying the opposite doesn't mean the way I'm feeling isn't true or accurate to me. Like Dave and I were just standing in the kitchen this morning or in the bathroom. We were talking about something, and I looked at him and I was like, listen, I am going to advocate for the way I am feeling right now and tell you that this is my truth. I understand that yours is different than mine, but we can figure this out. I'm just letting you know I'm not going to budge on this because this is my lived experience.
Right.
And his is different. And his is also 100% valid. And that's when I realized, when my therapist, like, she would say both things can be true, both things can be true. And it's kind of like, yeah. But it wasn't until there was really this moment of where we both have 2 very different lived experiences, both of which are true, that it made total sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay. And here's the best part. I can be empathetic to his lived experience, even though it's the opposite of mine.
Right.
Because you can. We're humans. We can empathize with one another and be like, that sucks. I'm really sorry that it happened that way.
And I would like, in Drew's defense, to read 2 things, because I think it's part of it. After he expressed how he felt, he said, you know Chloe better than anyone, so I appreciate you handling the situation. I support the way you handled it. I'm just thinking it's not as big of a deal as we're making out to be. It's part of growing up. You live and you learn. But I also didn't have to console her. I'm sure I would feel differently. You're a great mom, and I'll stand behind the decisions you make parenting wise, even if I would have done them differently. Thank you for filling me in and hearing me out. Like, he's really great about it. I took the first few exchanges and was like, oh no, I fucked up.
You have to, and I have to take my own advice on this, and you need to take my advice on this, because my therapist says that we have to do this shit. Okay.
Okay.
But we have to trust our truth when that shows up, and we have to stop second guessing and basing that on an exchange with another person, because if
How?
we're feeling it, there's a reason we're feeling it. Our brains know what our body is going through, and it is telling us.
Exactly.
It is giving us hints and clues all day long, and I didn't, Dave has been annoyed by, we joke, I call it audible gasping syndrome. And
It's a
I
real
have
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Like I get, I do this 50 fucking times a day.
Yep.
It's a trauma response. I have
is.
a full on trauma response to some shit, right?
Yeah.
I do that because my brain is constantly on high alert, getting ready for something, even though I know I am safe in my home. Everything is fine. I know because Dave, I will gasp when Dave walks into a room and he's like, I live here. And it's like, I know you live here. I wasn't prepared for your entrance into the room.
It's control.
And my brain is just like, and so that is another thing that you have to just kind of, it's all interwoven together. It's a
weird revelation that I'm having, though. It's very weird. It's very weird because this is a new revelation as of like today, as of this conversation. It started yesterday when I'm like, I don't know why I'm so invested in whether or not he's mad at me. And then today I'm realizing like how, even though we don't live together, we only speak about the kids. Sometimes we share whatever, but nothing. It's so business. So how the hell why do I care what he thinks?
That's a good question for your therapist, and then try to break that down to where you can set up some steps and sort of, I guess, I don't know the right way to say it, but like devolving. I don't think that's a word.
I have to cut a cord of some kind. It feels like I'm still tethered.
Right. But I don't know what that looks like. Like a therapist will know what that looks like, but it's almost like instead of steps to move forward, you need steps to move away.
Yeah, which is so weird because I thought I was away. Now I'm embarrassed a little.
No,
I wouldn't be embarrassed. One of the things Meredith said to Sophia the other day that I've been saying to her is, you can do hard things. And I think sometimes knowing the two of you, you don't think that you can, and you think you have to rely on other people to get through those hard things. And neither of you need anyone to get through anything.
Thank you, Dave.
I want to believe that.
Okay.
I thought it was setting in. I was so impressed. I'm like,
I'm trying. Listen, my fucking therapist is going to have a lake house soon. So while she's vacaying somewhere, hopefully I'm working through my steps.
Yeah, I'm going to explore this. This is interesting.
It is. It's also 10 o'clock. And I know that you've got a hard firm out. So
ew, don't.
I don't want to interrupt a hard firm out when a friend has a place to be. So guys, spread the word. We've got more dates coming. Hopefully we will be releasing those very, very soon. If you're going to be in the Albany area in late October, I want to say that's it's the 23rd or the 24th. We're going to be in Albany and Hartford. Come and see us. You can get tickets.
We will have a site soon. Podcasttake-it-or-leave-it.com will be set up with all
there
of this
will be all the links
shortly.
there. Very soon.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. And right now you can go to Tiffany's link tree has the individual ones, and I'm going to update my link tree to have the individual ones today as well. But yeah, so you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you next time on another episode of Take It
or Leave It, an advice-ish podcast hosted by two struggling moms
who have no idea what we're doing. We'll see you guys next time.
I love you. I'm so sorry I didn't share it. I love you. I feel so bad, dude.
Hold on.